Hell-Curvature Field Mechanics describes an extreme structural condition, a field in which instability enters faster than it can be released, contradictions accumulate faster than they can be compensated, and all available routes of stabilization begin collapsing into the very forces they were meant to contain. This field is not defined by suffering alone, it is defined by structural impossibility. A Hell curvature field forms when a field consumes more stability than any person, team, or system inside it can generate. Definition: a Hell curvature field is a maximal density environment in which inbound instability exceeds available channels of release. Contradictions accumulate faster than local compensation responsibility. Collapses toward a single absorbing point. Alignment failure becomes continuous rather than episodic. Time perception detaches from event density. Exit paths approach zero. Its defining property is simple. The field consumes more stability than can be produced inside it. Core properties: infinite gradient pool. Instability does not level off. Attempts to stabilize one part of the field may intensify turbulence elsewhere. In this condition, stabilization generates additional instability. Responsibility: singularity. When unresolved tasks, failures, leaks, and burdens collapse toward one locus, a responsibility singularity forms. This point becomes the absorber of what the field cannot distribute. This is not ordinary overwork, it is geometric collapse around the stabilizing axis. Non-recoverable alignment failure. In less extreme fields, alignment may drift and recover. In a Hell curvature field, alignment no longer returns within the original geometry. Misaligned vectors compound into continuous shear, temporal distortion, structural fatigue, and recursive instability. Negative dissipation. In ordinary fields, instability may reduce over time. Here, the opposite occurs. Repair attempts introduce more curvature than they remove. Energy input increases distortion rather than reducing it. Structural dynamics. Saturation. Beyond cognitive geometry. The field overwhelms the geometry available for understanding it. Linear models fail. Planar models fail. Even early curvature models may fail. The system cannot simply zoom out because increasing scale also increases dimensional noise. Curvature folding. Instability folds back onto itself, creating nested collapse zones. First-order compression, second-order resonance, third-order implosion. Each layer reinforces the next. This is why the field may feel infinite even when it is local. Directional failure. In an ordinary field, movement can create change. In a Hell curvature field, movement may increase collapse risk. All directions begin to feel equivalent to downhill. This is the condition of zero-exit topology. Motion remains possible, but meaningful escape does not. Collapse trajectories. A Hell curvature field may develop along several trajectories. Total structural failure. The system loses stabilizing form. Noise replaces structure. This is not simple destruction, but dissolution of shape. Fractured continuity. The system remains externally present but loses internal continuity. This may appear as broken timelines, incoherent task vectors, and discontinuities in observer perspective. Observer displacement. The observer exits the field without repairing it. This is an emergency relocation, not restoration. The field collapses behind the observer like a failed star. Dimensional override. A rarer outcome occurs when the observer's geometry reorganizes into a higher dimensional mode. The field remains dangerous, but no longer consumes the observer in the same way. Invariance. Several conditions remain stable across variations of the field. Unbounded instability gradient. Instability does not settle. Singularity formation. Unresolved vectors collapse toward one point. Negative dissipation dynamics. Repair intensifies distortion. Temporal distortion, sequence and density decouple. Zero exit topology, movement does not reliably produce escape. Boundary statement. Hell-curvature field mechanics is not a description of emotion, trauma response, behavioral syndrome, or subjective suffering in the ordinary psychological sense. It is a curvature-based model for structural impossibility zones, local fields in which collapse becomes the default trajectory because instability, contradiction, and responsibility gradients exceed all available dissipation capacity. Naming declaration. Hell-curvature field mechanics originates within the meta-writing ecology as a model of extreme curvature environments in which density and responsibility gradients exceed all available dissipation capacity. It is not derived from psychology, trauma theory, sociology, or behavioral science. Its terminology and logic are internally generated within the meta-writing ecology as a structural model for environments where collapse becomes the default trajectory of the field itself.